You're a CTO at a major financial institution, and you just spent $8 million on AI initiatives in the last 12 months. Then your CFO comes to you and asks, hey, what do we have to show for all that we spent on AI? What were the returns on our investment? The awkward part is that you have no idea. That moment where you realize that your entire AI portfolio is sitting scattered in Excel spreadsheets and in someone's head. If that sounds like you, this video is for you. Quick intro. I'm Musanya Mande, an AI transformation consultant, and my expertise is in financial services. I've worked with many banks, insurance companies, asset managers, and even payments fintechs, and I see a consistent pattern in terms of the challenges that they face across the board. It's mainly these three. Number one is the unproven ROI gap, where they invest millions but have very little to show for it in tangible, measurable ROI. The second issue is the agility gap, where teams build prototypes but they struggle to scale them across the organization. The third issue is the legacy integration gap, where AI pilots and prototypes work in isolation but they struggle to integrate with their organization's systems. So I built something to fix this, and I'm very happy to introduce Airoid. This is your AI ROI dashboard, which is built specifically for executives that have invested in AI. And I'm very happy to take you through it and show you how it works today. The challenge is that most financial services institutions and the executives in those organizations spend between $5 and $50 million on AI annually. However, they have a zero consolidated view of the returns that they've earned on that budget that they've invested. The board asks, what's the ROI? And then the financial executive scrambles to go and find the information to answer that question. I wonder if that sounds familiar for you. The result, unfortunately, is that they lose credibility, budgets get cut, and it even risks their career in some instances. And nothing says Thursday afternoon scramble like getting the budget review invite and only realizing then that your AI portfolio lives in 12 different spreadsheets, 3 different departments, and a lot of it in Gary's head. And guess what? Gary's on holiday. I wonder if that sounds familiar. Anyway, the common mistake here is starting with technology instead of understanding the business outcome that we're aiming to achieve. And the idea here is if we hire the talent, they'll figure it out. But building teams before understanding the problem that we want to solve tends to tie up these organizations in a loop that doesn't work out for them. And this is a classic error in technology-first thinking. Let's look into Airoid and how it addresses that solution. Number one, it allows you to catalog every single AI investment across the board on a single dashboard, giving you complete visibility. The second benefit is that you get to categorize all of your AI investments into 3 categories: the money makers, the cost savers, and then the game changers, which get all of us excited, where everybody else is playing soccer, kicking the ball around, and then suddenly you pick up the ball and you run towards the rugby post and play a completely different game, rugby or football, whichever one you want to call it. The third benefit is the heat map ranking, where you get to categorize your investments into red, amber, and green. The green ones are the ones which are performing well. Amber are those which are mediocre but can potentially be improved. Then red are the ones which are making losses, and you essentially want to cut those and focus more on those which are working. Last but not least, the fourth benefit is that you get real-time ROI tracking, where each investment is cataloged and you get to see the ROI on each investment, comparing the budget versus the return that was earned on that particular AI investment. Let me take a few moments to show you what that looks like by showing you the dashboard that's on my screen. Welcome to the demo of Airoid, your AI ROI dashboard, which enables you to get actionable insights on how to maximize the return you gain on your AI investments. What you see in front of you is the landing page. On this landing page, you will see a small demo video of the Airoid application. As you scroll down, you'll see the features, namely the 360-degree dashboard, the ROI heat map, as well as the investment categorization. I'm going to be showing you all of that as we get into the demo for today. Without any further ado, I'll take us to the sign up page. The sign up page shows us where we can sign up. In this pre-launch version, we only ask for your email address as well as your password for you to sign up. I'm going to be using a demo account that I've created in advance to prepare for this demo, so I'll be signing in using that demo account. Let's sign in and let's see what Airoid has for us. What you see once we've signed in successfully is that for this demo account, there are multiple investments that have been preloaded that we will be looking at and discussing for today. To give you an introduction, what we see on the dashboard is the total number of investments or AI use cases. We see that's 51. The total budget that's been invested on these 51 use cases comes to 20.5 million US dollars, and the total return earned on these investments is around $57 million. When we calculate that, the ROI on this investment comes to 179% on these active projects. This is your bird's eye view for all of your AI projects, and this closes your ROI gap because it can very transparently and very clearly show you in a data-driven way, show you the total ROI on your AI investments. Continuing past the top level of the dashboard, we then get to see that we have all of our AI investments listed here. So all of our 51 AI investments have been listed here. I'll take us through a simple example of how we can sort and filter all of our AI investments. So by default, it's sorted according to ROI from greatest to lowest. So we see that the project that's giving us the highest ROI is this fraud detection ML model. We invested 450,000 US dollars and the return earned is 2.1 million US dollars. What this project does is that it gives us real-time transaction monitoring system that identifies fraudulent patterns and prevents unauthorized payments. This is our highest performing project. Our next highest performing project is the algorithmic trading platform. This is our game changer. We invested $1.2 million and we earned a return of 4.1 million US dollars. So we see that the ROI here is 241%. So we can sort our projects from highest to lowest. We can also sort them from lowest to highest. This allows us to see which projects are not performing well. And we'll get into that when we look at the agility gap as well. We can sort by ROI. We can sort by return as well. Again, we can see this project returned the highest in terms of USD, 4.1 million US dollars, this one 2.6 million, and so on and so forth. We can also sort in ascending order to see the ones which gave us the smallest returns. And we see these ones with the negative returns are the ones which haven't even covered the budget that has been invested. We can also sort our projects according to the budget that's been invested. So in descending order, we see that we've invested the most in this particular project, 1.2 million. And then we can also sort that in ascending order. We can see this one, we spent only 145,000 US dollars, but we earned a return of 390,000. So it is really compelling ROI, even though the budget was really low. Whereas we see another project where we spent more on that project, but our ROI has been less. We only earned $200,000 on that. So that is, in a nutshell, your ability to track your ROI and close that ROI gap. So I hope you like what you're seeing on this demo. It really excites us to have built this for you, and we're really keen to get it into your hands and get your feedback in terms of the value that it's adding for you. And once you start using this, you then get to walk into board meetings with confidence saying, here are the 7 rockstar AI projects which are delivering returns for us, as you can see on this dashboard. Here are the 3 that are not working out, and we're going to be shutting those down. And you then get to be known as that executive that delivers ROI when they're trusted with budget. I hope you like how that sounds and that you can see yourself sitting in those shoes. The second challenge which I've observed in financial institutions is the agility gap. This is a challenge where the organization struggles to have the necessary agility and skill to deliver AI solutions into production at scale. And as a result, AI pilots stay in pilot phase and never make it into production. And that results in, again, the return on investment not being realized. To prevent this situation, you need to have a decisive production or pivot framework where you want to get your AI pilots into production within 6 months or less. And if it works out, excellent. It works in production, measure your success, measure your ROI. If you're struggling to get it to production within those 6 months, you want to pivot to see if this is something that's technically feasible, if there's an issue in terms of getting adoption, or some other kind of challenge in your project and how you're delivering it. But essentially, to have the agility gap closed, you want to have that production or pivot decisive framework, deciding that we're going to take it to production or we're going to pivot how we're working on this AI solution within 6 months. Let's go into Airoid again, where I'll be sharing my screen to show you how Airoid enables agility through its project enhancement workflow. Any project or AI investment that you have on your Airoid dashboard can be converted into a project if you see that there's a need to intervene. It allows you to define the project scope and any of the priorities for the project so that you can intervene and increase the ROI on the project. Let's have a look. Next, let's look at how to close your agility gap. Agility is your ability to have the skills and agility to deliver at scale so that you can start generating your ROI on AI investments. Now, the beauty of this is that you can categorize all of your AI projects into your money makers, your cost savers, and your game changers. So I can filter and look only at the cost savers and look at the ROI metrics for all of my cost savers. And we can see that amongst my cost savers, there are some which are not, if I sort it by ROI in ascending order, you see that 3 of my cost savers are really mediocre at this point in time. Let's look at the money makers. Sorting by ROI, we can see that this employee onboarding agent, which was supposed to be a moneymaker, is the one that's performing really badly for us. What we see at the moment is that this employee onboarding agent cost us almost 500,000 US dollars, but it's only returned 115,000 US dollars. So that helps us make a very data-driven decision to say, you know what, we're not getting ROI on this. We're going to stop continuing to spend money on this because it's not generating those returns, and we can can that. We can end that project, pause it. Moving on to those which had mediocre returns, where we can see that actually here are some that can actually start earning more return. We've covered our cost, but we think we can generate more return on these investments. We can convert these into projects. So as an example, let's look at this document intelligence system where we spent 265. We have covered our costs. We've generated returns of 280,000, but we think we can do more on that. So let's convert that into a project. So we see this user interface that lets us define our project objectives, the timeline, the resources requirements, the risk assessment, as well as our success metrics. So looking at this project, I can then start identifying, okay, cool, here's how we want to intervene in this project. So the project objectives is that we want to have high quality data extraction and classification from structured financial documents. So I'll just paste that there. I prepared it ahead of this demo. The timeline, we're expecting that to take 4 weeks. We're looking at the resources required. We're looking at a feature team of 3 people, as well as AWS credits. We're looking at around $600 of AWS credits. And our team will also need access to the dev and test environments for this platform. The risk assessment, we're going to need to onboard the team, and we need access to be granted. Otherwise, our 4-week timeline is going to be delayed. So this is an important aspect of preparing for the project, identifying the risks which may impede the success of the project. Lastly, then, our success metrics. How are we going to measure success of the project? And this ties back to how we're going to measure ROI. We are targeting a 20% plus improvement in terms of the incorrect classification of structured financial documents. With this information in mind, we can go ahead and create that project, and through integrations that would work in the background, and we can configure this upfront when we set up the project, it would then integrate with your project management system, whether that's Jira, Monday.com, Asana, or any other project management system, and it will create that project with that scope that we've defined. Then in your project management system, you can go ahead and assign the feature team of 3, which is supposed to implement this and scope your project in a lot more detail. So this is a demonstration of how Airoid enables you to close the agility gap, making you more agile, double down on your success, and compound the things that are working well for you. To make this more relatable, I'll tell you a story about one of the banks that I worked with. And they had this division which was highly innovative, and they worked on many pilots and POCs over time. And this worked to make the organization more innovative. What worked well for them is that as much as they did multiple POCs, they had a decisive framework for getting them to production. And as a result of the 23 pilots that they worked on, they found that 12 of them made it to production. Some of them could have made it and they sort of parked those, but there are some which were just not viable and they essentially canned those projects. The benefit of having that decisive framework is that they could reinvest those funds into the projects which were working and now compound their results and compound their success. This is what we've seen working really well to close that agility gap. And I hope you can learn and resonate with this story and apply it in your space as well. In a nutshell, to close the agility gap, you want your team to become AI capable, where you have the skills and the agility to deliver at scale. And Airoid enables you to do that by giving you that visibility for data-driven decisions. Let's look at the final point, which is the integration gap, the legacy integration gap, which occurs when AI solutions and AI pilots work in isolation, but they struggle to be integrated with the organization's core data set, which looks at real customers, real employees, real suppliers, real transactions. When the AI solution works in isolation, let's say on a sample data set, but not on real data, the organization really struggles to see a tangible, justifiable return on the investment they've made into AI. So we really want to close that gap, and Airoid enables you to do that through the way that I'll explain shortly. The third item we're going to look at is closing the integration gap. The challenge here is that when these platforms are not integrated with your data, it starts to limit your ability to track your ROI on a real-time and live basis. So Airoid introduces this feature, enabling you to connect to your data. So when you click on the Connect Data button, you can connect to essentially any data source under the sun. And we've listed here the usual ones: Google Drive, Microsoft OneDrive, Dropbox, Box.com, Salesforce, SAP, Oracle, Microsoft Dynamics, Atlassian, which is your Jira and Confluence, ServiceNow, Workday, and a number of others which are all listed here. I'm going to go to the very bottom of this list, and what you can go do further is you can connect via custom API to a custom data source, which may not be listed here, via API. So you simply would go to that by clicking on this connect button. Currently, this is a feature that we're still working on, and it's coming soon. We're very keen to hear your feedback in terms of your interest in this feature. So please do engage with us on this one. In a nutshell, that shows you how you can connect to external data sources so that you can have real-time tracking of your ROI, closing your integration gap so that you can start to see more return on your AI investments. In a nutshell, as we've seen on this demo, we can see how Airoid enables you to close that integration gap and to be more agile with higher ROI and essentially start to see tangible, proven results on the AI investments that you're making. And understanding that banking, financial services, insurance, these are highly regulated environments. Therefore, your integration becomes critically important to make sure that you can have solutions that scale well, work well, while complying with regulation. That integration gap needs to be closed for this to work at scale. Let's bring this home and draw it to a close with the three main points that we've covered. Number one is what we call the investment black hole, where money goes down the drain and there isn't a return to show for it. I hope we've demonstrated how Airoid enables you to close that ROI gap. The second one being the agility gap, where organizations lack the scale, the skills and the agility to deliver at scale. I hope I've demonstrated how Airoid enables you to close that gap. And lastly, the legacy integration gap. This is critically important, especially for organizations in regulated industries like banks, insurance companies, asset managers, and even payments companies. It's important to make sure that you can close that integration gap so that you can demonstrate to the regulators that all of the data is sound and all the decisions that have been made by AI can be supported with fact. What do you get as your prize for embarking on this journey of AI transformation? You get measurable results, you get sustainable performance inside your organization, you get recognition from your sponsors, your colleagues, and peers in the industry, known as someone who delivers results and delivers returns on the investments and budget that they get trusted with. This is your prize. And I hope through this demonstration of Airoid, you can see the areas in your organization where it can add value and get you to that point where you can deliver the measurable results with tangible ROI on your AI investments. It's been huge fun telling you about Airoid. We had tons of fun building it for you, and I'd really love to get your feedback on how it's transforming your space and giving you value on a regular basis. I'd encourage you to have a look at the link in the description. This will tell you all about Airoid and prompt you to sign up and take advantage of our launch offer, which you'll find out about on the landing page that will be on the other side of the link. Thank you very much for your time and attention in this video. I had lots of fun making it for you, and Please let us know how it's transforming your space. Engage with us in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. And if you want to see more and more like this, subscribe to the channel and we'll be giving you more and more content showing you how you can transform your organization using AI. Thank you very much. Take care.